So if I don't trust you, how can I refer you?
You're not gonna, plain and simple.
That's exactly right. That's why we need to talk about this.
Absolutely. Get on with the show.
That's right. Pillar number 3 coming up. I'm Sheryl Powers, and I am a serial entrepreneur who has trained thousands of people in networking.
My name is Rob Bliss, and I have 10x my business the last year through being a better networker.
That's right. And we have failed, and now we're failing forward.
Yes.
So that you can learn from the failures. So here's the 4 pillars that we're talking about. You want to go through the first 2 that we've already gone through?
I love those first 2 pillars, Sheryl. Number 1 being building your community. That is just so critical. And then going into pillar number 2 is building the relationships with the people within your communities.
Yes. And if you get these things down, right? So the 4 corners of your foundation, then you can begin to build your networking house. This is so important. So now we're on foundational pillar number 3, which is
building trust.
What does trust mean to you, Rob?
It's a difficult word, but to me, I think it's really when someone says that right away, my first reaction is you're gonna do what you say you're gonna do, and you can depend on that person for that.
That's right. I was really thinking about this too, because trust really comes from honesty.
Yes.
And honesty is born out of, hey, this is who I am. This is who I say I am. And being that person all the way through to the best of your ability, right? So the best of your ability. So having trust means that now people want to do business with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you build trust? What are some of your foundational?
I think my beginning point is, bringing value to the table.
Mm-hmm.
I want to show, my networking community that, I'm good at what I do. I'm an expert in my field, and I want to bring value to them so that I can help their business, So I think that to me is my first step.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I think that's good. I was thinking about when do I trust people the most? When do I trust people the most? It's when they make their little notes. They say, "Hey, Sheryl, this is what I'm going to do for you," and then, "Yay, thank you, it's awesome." And I wait, and I write that down. And I know I've talked about this so many times, but it's still crazy that out of all the one-on-ones I have, right? So the first one was really about building your community, like going to networking groups. The second one was building those relationships through one-on-ones. After the one-on-one comes that follow-up time. And when they say they're going to follow up with this, that, or the other, and they don't, man, they might have been a 10. I might have had the best one-on-one with them. They might have just rocked my world and even bought the coffee. But then when weeks go by, and maybe a month or 2, and I'm still not hearing from them, I just they're way down. They moved from a 10 to a 2.
That's so true. And it happens to me as well. But, one of the things, and I'm one of those people too, but one thing that's really helped me is you, Sheryl, because you've become a great accountability partner. And you send me reminders and things like that. So I really think that's an important part of the process because we're being fed so much information. It is kind of impossible to do it. So having that accountability partners, you have been great for me.
Well, there are also some great electronic accountability partners, right? So everybody needs to have a system.
Right.
Please get a system.
Yes.
I don't care if it's your notebook and you have 12 million notebooks and everything's in chronological order with little pasties on it, right? So whatever works for you. For me, again, I like my iPad. It's got my notes section and then everything's in chronological order. I can put in keywords and I can say, hey, you need to know this person. And then boom, I can do my follow-up much faster.
Right.
But if I'm having to push paper like you do, man, I'd be in real trouble, buddy. Real trouble. But hey, it works for you. Doesn't work for me. Find out what works for you. So I'm going to give you a little, this is a cool system that I am going to, where did I put that? Oh, here it is. It's called Clay. Are you familiar with this?
I've never heard that one before.
It's a new CRM system, and so this was from, and I don't remember what source. I'll post. We'll make sure you post the link here at the bottom. But it was the top 8 networking follow-up business tools, and Clay is one of them. And this was an update just last month from a 2022 article, and they call Clay your personal Rolodex. So I'm on the hunt for something that integrates all this stuff. It makes me crazy that LinkedIn doesn't have it. LinkedIn, please. You don't even have a card scanner capability, right? You don't even have the ability for me to match my calendar or my messaging with an Outlook calendar or a Gmail calendar right there in LinkedIn. I mean, it's just, you guys are nuts. But anyway, so other people are figuring it out, and Clay does. And here's what they say. They automatically build a collection of everyone you know, securely connecting your email, calendar, Twitter, LinkedIn, and iMessage. So you don't have to hand put in all the information anymore. Say goodbye to entering it manually, they say. And it keeps the details up to date, not out of date. So I'm looking forward to taking a look at this tool. It even populates with photos.
Give it a test drive?
Yeah, I think I am, because there's a free version. I see a little free version. I like free. That's my favorite F word, right? So free. So Clay could be a really good tool for you if you're really struggling with follow-up. Because some people, it's like out of sight, out of mind. Right. Oh, I had a great time. I met all these people. And then the next day happens and they're like a little butterfly just off into the next, forest. So there we go. That's just one of them. And I've told you what Rob and I do. So for you, you put it in Pipedrive, right?
Right. Put it in Pipedrive.
Okay. Do you do that daily?
No, I don't do it daily, but I'm trying to, I'm probably doing it 2, maybe 3 times a week.
Okay.
But I think daily is the goal, though. I mean, right when it happens, do it now.
Yeah. Well, and maybe a great follow-up tool could be just putting on your calendar at least one time a week when so whether that's Friday afternoon, Monday morning.
Right.
So if you do miss the week just takes on a life of its own, which happens. Now you've at least got that tickler on your calendar to say, hey, you know what? I need to do my promised follow-up with all of my one-on-ones, the introductions and whatever, right? So
absolutely. And that kind of reminds me too of a good book that I've been studying the last couple of weeks because of this pillar number 3 is a book by Jeffrey Gitomer, and it's called Trust, how to earn it, how to grow it, and how to keep it. And, with what that you're talking about, Clay, how to grow your trust factor is you've got to, again, stay in touch with those people on a timely basis. So I really think that is so important to grow that trust factor within your community that I'm going to really check out Clay.
Yeah, I'd really like to read that book. Jeffrey Gitomer.
Here it is.
How do I spell his last name?
Gitomer.
Okay, Gitomer.
Yeah.
Okay.
This guy, he's got a couple of books that are way up there for me. His little black book of connections, but this book is awesome, Sheryl. You will really enjoy it. So highly recommend this. Put it on your reading list.
The Little Teal Book of Trust. That's neat. I really like that. So one of the things I always try to do too, and again, what I'm crazy, like I just can't believe LinkedIn doesn't have this capability, but when I connect with people at a networking event through LinkedIn messaging, which I do often, that way we can connect immediately. It goes in chronological order, and I put a personalized invite in there so I know where I met them. Then the next morning, hopefully they have by that point accepted it. Then we schedule our one-on-one. Then during the one-on-one, I try to pull out my calendar and schedule another one-on-one, or at least the follow-up conversation, or, hey, I want to invite you to this other event. Right. And I try to do that in real time. I find that really helps build trust. And just for me, because I fail.
Right.
I fail so fast. I forget stuff so fast. So sending out promised introductions, I'd mentioned that, but that's really important. Do you have an easy tool that you use in order to make those promised introductions for people?
No, I mean, because I'm kind of the paper guy, I keep the business cards in front of me. And, even though they might be in my CRM, fact is you still have to click a few buttons to see them in the CRM and the digital side. But when these are the cards I've vetted out. I might have 50 cards, but only 5 of them I'm going to have a one-on-one with. And I keep those right by my phone. so I can see that every single day to make sure that I've got to call Bob back to give him that referral.
Okay. And
So
you like Post-it notes?
yeah,
Which
yeah,
there's no shame in that.
no,
That's-
absolutely.
My husband loves his Post-it notes. God bless the Post-it note inventor. But that's a tool,
Yeah.
right? If Post-it notes are what works for you, hey, go for it. Here's one of the things that comes up a lot too. Hey, I don't know how to do follow-up with people that if I'm new to networking and I met some great people, but I don't know how to follow up with other people because I don't know other people yet, right? They're trying to build that network. So help them find other associations and groups. So if you found other networking groups, find out what they're involved in and invite them. I think that's a great follow-up tool.
I think, that's perfect. Yeah, I mean, yeah, especially for the newbie out there that, again, doesn't have a big networking community. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's a great way too to then have, a cup of iced tea with them before you walk in, kind of do a little refresh. And then everybody's winning because now you're also taking a new person into another event. So I think that's pretty cool. Drip campaigns.
Yes.
There are some other things we're going to talk about in the next fourth pillar that I'm talking about with drip campaigns, because that kind of falls under marketing as well, right?
It does.
The messaging, which we're going to talk about next. But please, this is my follow-up ask. Please don't put somebody on a drip campaign if they haven't said, yes, please put me on a drip campaign.
Yeah, I mean, that is so true, because it can be annoying. Everyone's getting spammed to death nowadays. So, in part of your one-on-one, and this is something that's a great reminder what you're sharing with me right now, is because I do have a small drip after the one-on-one where I touch them 3 times. Haven't done it in a while, so thank you for sharing that note. Because again, that's a nice way of that when you've had a good one-on-one with somebody, once you hit that button, they're going to hear from you 3 times.
Yeah.
And so right then you've built your credibility and you've built a trust factor that you're staying in touch.
Yeah. So, and to that point, I do a manual follow-up instead of putting them on a drip. There's a manual follow-up that I do, and that's what I call an MPA service brief. So Empowered Advantage, and it lists all my services, and I let people know, hey, it's only this long.
Yeah.
It's only this long. And it's just text with things like little notes that you might hear, questions you might hear from other people that would trigger hey, that's a great referral for Sheryl.
Yeah.
Then one line on each of my services, and then some of the links that I think are germane to that relationship, that conversation we're having. So that's a great, and people have told me they really appreciate that, because I said, I'm not here to sell you a thing. I'm here to help put something in your back pocket, right? Star it. Put it in the Sheryl folder for when you're like, what the flip did Sheryl do again? I forgot. So that's just a great follow-up tool. And that probably is the single reason why I get referrals back from people. So I follow up. I try to be really great about that, but also then making sure that people have in their hand a really succinct list of what I do.
That's a great reminder, Sheryl, because I really did it for quite a while, doing my drip, because I wanted my one-on-ones, the good one-on-ones, where I know I could start building that relationship, gaining that trust factor. I wanted to connect with them 3 more times over the next 4 to 5 weeks. And again, I'm not good on my follow-up as you are. And so the drip helps those people that really need that little kick in the butt, need that help, as a reminder, because again, if they were to hear 3 more times from me over that next 1 month, I'm going to build that trust factor, and then I can start building the relationship. So really, that was to me important. I think the manual way is the best. Yes, no doubt about it, but I'm not quite there yet.
I mean, we all have other things that we're doing. So, hey, as long as you've got something going on, that's really important. And here's the last thing that I was thinking about in regards to building trust. And you were the one who kind of teaches everybody about this, including myself, and that's having one-on-one 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, because you're never going to be able to get all of the information out and really learn about that person, even in 1 or 2 one-on-ones.
Yeah, and that's just, I mean, common sense again is that when in a 30-day period that you've touched base with somebody 3 times, you are building that relation. You're gaining that trust factor. You're showing that person you care. Yeah. So they're going to open up a little bit more. So I think it's a very important factor.
All right, your number one tip for somebody who's just they're struggling with follow up, struggling building that trust. They're not getting the referrals. What's your number one tip for them?
I think the number one tip for me is, again, giving value to those people that you've met. That's something that you want to take that relationship to that next level. You don't know what to do. Do something for them. Give them something. Bring value to the table that can help them out. For me, what I do is I offer a free LinkedIn headshot.
Mm-hmm.
So when I know someone has not a very good headshot, I say, come on into our studio and we'll take a professional headshot for you. So now I've started that process of building trust.
Yes. Well, and so to the point of, I'm going to go to a newbie, right? Here's a tip for a newbie, or here's a tip for somebody who's like, I'm just really struggling with introductions. I don't know how to do that properly. Do the Sean Rosensteel. Remember what he told us he did when he found out the lady wanted to do a cat.
Yes,
the
cat cafe.
Yeah, the cat cafe.
The cafe. Yeah, that was
so
awesome.
He went and bought a book for her. And he said it's $10, a cat cafe book on how to make a cat cafe.
Yeah.
So if that's all you got is
great.
helping them with, maybe they were talking about their garden and they're really doing terrible. They got a brown thumb and it's just not working. So maybe give them a gardening book. Or, I mean, just something, right?
Yes,
something
absolutely.
that says, I heard you, I care about you, and I'm honestly going to do everything that I can to help support you.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the goal. Be honest, be transparent, and do your best to put in writing your follow-up items.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to have one more last pillar coming up next week. So you want to tune into that one. And that will be the final pillar as we are building this house of networking. So Network Today, where we take you from meeting people to
making money
faster. Don't forget to like and subscribe, please. So if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. We appreciate every one of you as we're building this channel out, and we will see you next week.